I started using this iPhone 13 mini from September last year, and this was my first ever mini version iPhone. When the 14 Pro came out, I switched to test out the latest features and mainly the camera. Even though I was pretty impressed by 14 Pro's camera, display and the battery life, I had to go back to my old 13 mini for a number of reasons, which I want to discuss in this video. Number one reason, form factor, form factor, form factor. I think it's the biggest misconception that people assume the mini version iPhone's major flaw is its size from a user experience standpoint. And I think it makes sense, the entire industry is trying to make bigger and larger smartphones. And considering how much we rely on our smartphones on virtually everything, including consuming content these days, it's a fair assumption. But if you have actually used both these phones, size is not the biggest flaw, but the greatest strength of this iPhone. People actually underestimate how much a comfortable form factor affects your day-to-day use, and I think this is by far the most comfortable iPhone till date. It's lightweight, super easy to hold, operate using one hand. The size makes it natural fit in the palm. Before these two phones, I was using an iPhone XS which had 5.8-inch screen, and I thought personally that was the biggest size of a smartphone that I can ever use. Then the Pro models came out with a whopping 6.1 inches each year. Don't get me wrong, the displays are amazing on the 14 Pro with that size, but it's just too hard to reach anywhere with one hand. I seriously get hand fatigue from using this big of a phone. It's a heavy phone and it's even more clumsy when you're trying to reach apps or functions in the corners. If you have bigger hand, the situation might be different. But the 13 mini is comfortable for anyone to use with just one hand, and the display on the 13 mini is also pretty great. It's the same Super Retina HDR OLED panel that performs really well and is just good enough on a day-to-day basis. So by going with 13 mini, you get best of both worlds. A phone where I can get a lot more done faster, easily and comfortably, and still getting a pleasing user experience. So when you go back to a 13 mini from the latest Pro model, of course it's gonna be a step down and you're gonna lose some features, no doubt in that. But I don't think everyone needs the power, screen size or the performance of a Pro phone, unless of course you want to go for the latest and greatest. The 13 mini over the 14 Pro is that there's not that many compromises when it comes to features and performance. 13 mini could do 90% of what the 14 Pro could do. Even though there are some differences, they're not make it or break it. To start with, you're getting a 5.4-inch display versus a 6.1-inch display, but still an OLED display on both these phones. You do lose that 120Hz ProMotion display, but internally you're getting previous year's A15 Bionic chip, but this is the same chip as in this year's non-Pro iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. 4 gigs of RAM over 6 gigs, 2406 milliamperes of battery versus 3200 milliamperes, and both support MagSafe. And there's this fast charging difference of 12 watts versus 15 watts. Not a huge difference in my opinion, especially if you're someone who charges your phone overnight. And both phone gets 5G connectivity, with the Pro model getting faster speeds. So you can see overall there's gonna be some trade-offs here and there, but not a huge surprise. And another notable difference is going to be the battery life. There are days when I need to charge this phone midday, especially on a day when I'm doing a lot of filming or calls. But on a normal day, I get around 7 hours of screen on time, which I can comfortably make it till the end of the day. But hey, there's no way around this. You're not gonna get the same battery performance as bigger phones out there. That's something you will have to sacrifice for the ergonomics. The camera. Both the cameras get 4K 60 frames per second. The 13 mini has 13 megapixels of camera, one standard camera and an ultra wide. It uses the same advanced image processing and computational photography tricks leveraged by the A15 Bionic, so you're still getting some class leading pictures from it. And it's not only for photos, but it also applies to videos. The Pro has 3 cameras, with the main camera with 48 megapixels, 12 megapixel telephoto and a wide. And with the raw picture capabilities and better LiDAR sensor, this is very clearly one of the very big difference between Mini and the Pro of any year. These two phones are not the same, but the 13 mini is up there with the best of the best, and with a price difference of $999 versus $699, they really shouldn't be the same. And arguably, the iPhone 13 mini is the most feature-rich, compact iPhone out there. And with the newer software updates, I think this phone is going to be supported for the next 3 to 4 years at least. So if you want to get the best of the best in this price range without compromising on a lot of the features like in the iPhone SE, this is your best bet.